Services. It's nice to have you join us on AM today. As I said, it's going to be a special edition as we'll be celebrating the lives and crimes of our late governor, on the show today.
Yes, Shadio Gidonde, I'm Sahira Ribisala. Let's eat straight into what we've got for you this morning, and usual practices to take you around Nigeria through the lens of the dailies. Yes, we take a look at some of the developments across the country, particularly taking stops at different national dailies for you this morning. And we'll begin today with the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper is leading with there you see 80, yes, in the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. But you find other headlines, particularly what's happening, the situation of things in Nigeria when it comes to the economy, in the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Economic hardship forces hell-bent on undermining Nigeria. That's coming from Shatima, that's the vice president. Says 32 roads for smuggling food items out of Nigeria uncovered. You also find FG to raise $10 billion for increased liquidity, naira stability. To release another 60,000 metric tons of grains. You also find executive order to float dollar-denominated securities in the offing. You find that also in the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. You also see this, since May 29, Nigeria moving from one trouble to another. Anglican bishop says Nigerian frustrated, Hungary angry, had to pacify. You begin to wonder, we export
what is needed
and we import. Let us hope that the situation, a solution that will make things bearable for Nigerians, particularly when it comes to the cost of that product, is achieved soonest. Custom to distribute seized food items to Nigerians. That's on page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune. Bill to establish state police passes second reading. Kick over FG, producers agreed price. You check that story also in the Nigerian Tribune for this morning.
From the Daily Times, on the Daily Times we have this one. Experts canvass funding of state police from gathers security votes. Details of that is on page 2 of the Daily Times for today. For quite a while, people, especially governors, have been speaking about there is need for state policing and all that. And it seems that the conversation is getting to a logical end between the state governments and the federal government. So what else is being discussed, and part of it is experts conversing the funding of state police should be from gathers security votes. You want to know what? Check page 2 of the Daily Times for today. Senate to investigate Buhari's 30 trillion naira ways and means, the other spendings as well. Details of that is on the front page of the Daily Times. You find the story there. We also have this one. NICA says the confidence of rebounds in Nigerian economy. Find details of that on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune for this. High-profile kidnapper in coordinated operation. That's also on page 2, and I think it's a sharing news that kidnappers are being nabbed. That brings the incidence of kidnapping to a lower degree. And conspicuously on the front page of the Daily Times this morning, you find the incidence of flooding there. The roads flooded, commuters finding it difficult to move. And NIMET is actually coming out with speculations of what the flooding situation of the country will be coming rainy season. And that will be all from the Daily Times for this morning.
Away from the Daily Times this morning, let's check the Daily Trust newspaper. The Daily Trust newspaper is leading with this headline in the front page for this morning, and it's on the situation when it comes to what the Naira exchange is exchanging for at this particular time. Says dollar eats 1,900 naira, pound 2,250. Says despite FG's clampdown, we find riders to that, BECs raided, operators arrested, trial and error not solution. That's according to economists. Partner us to address volatility. Operators tell government. Nasima wants dollar pegged at 850 naira. See also, FG NAS probe Buhari's 22.7 trillion naira ways and means loans is to find the passage of the Reps Pass State Police Bill for second reading. And you also see Customs subsidizes, distributes seized food items. This is also here, quite sad. Bandits kill 7, injure baby, raise property in Katsina. You find those stories in the Daily Trust for this morning and more.
All right, on the leadership this morning, we have this one. Hardship. Presidency blames economic saboteurs for food. Find details of that on page 4 of the leadership for this morning. And also on the leadership story, bandits kill 14, adopt 72 in Katsina, Zamfara states. You have details of that on page 18 of the leadership of this morning. Fixing gas supply issues will boost industrialization. That's according to Elumelu. You find details of that on page 28 of the leadership newspaper for this morning. Still on the leadership, we have this one. Here. State Police Bill passes second reading. You find that on page 9 of the leadership. And FG begins to audit the audit of 22.7 trillion naira CBN ways and means loan. Details of that is on page 8 of the leadership for this morning. And finally, from the leadership this morning, we have this one. Kebbi records 25 suspected polio virus cases. Well, that's not too good there. Just as the nation is thinking we've become zero, in the incidence of polio, and we're having some other records of the virus in Kebbi State. Well, details of that is on page 28 of the leadership for this month.
And that tells us that it's never the end. Just keep on with all of the measures that is needed to stop this particular spread. Let's check the Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper this morning, 22.7 trillion naira overdraft to government for probe. You also find above the nameplate, you see the picture of the former governor of Ondo State, Litolu Warotimi Odoyo Akeredolu, and it has this caption: Ayedatiwa Duke, Fayemi, Otudeka, others honor Akeredolu. That was the event held yesterday in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. So find this one. Lagos begins process to move computer village. Tinubu directs payment of State House electricity bill. Yes, the bold one in the front page of the Nation. Shetima, we will battle forces bent on subverting country. Truck owners resume petrol loading, and that's also in the front page of.
Alright, from the Nation newspaper, let's check the New Telegraph. On the New Telegraph this morning, it's also the prop story. And means fund. And if I details about on pages 2 and 4 of the nation, of the New Telegraph this morning, right? The story says claims reckless spending caused nation's current woes as commotion characterizes the debate. You also have this one, separate politicians sabotaging economy. Desperate politicians sabotaging economy, says Shatima. This is of that on pages 2 and 4 of the New Telegraph. And still on the New Telegraph is this one. Obasanjo seeks laws on organ harvesting, donors, patients, and all that you find on page 3 of the New Telegraph. Emphasizes cadaveric donations. Remember, we still have the Nigerian, the former Deputy Senate President still, and his wife still in incarceration outside the country for organ harvesting, donor, and things that have to do with it. Alright, away from that, insecurity. Reps pass state police bill for second reading. Pages 3 and 9 of the New Telegraph. It's time for state police to curb rising insecurities, she says Sage. Okay, find that on page 3 and 9 of the New Telegraph. And still on the New Telegraph on page 2, National Secretary, we are not your slaves, Southeast PDP tells National Working Committee. Customs plans to dispose of food items seized from smugglers nationwide. And yes, that will bring some relief to the people. And finally, on page 5, Tinubu orders settlement of outstanding 342.4 million AEDC's bills, urges other MDAs to pay up. That will be all from the New Telegraph.
All right, before we check updates in the world of sports this morning, let's close the newspaper review segment with updates from the Guardian newspaper. And the Guardian newspaper is here. Find a way through the flood.
Across the bridge, there's no more sorrow.
My dear people, as you all know, the Lord took home our illustrious father, leader, and former governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, SANCON. God works in mysterious ways, and nobody can question him. Since the sad event took place, the government of Ondo State and the Akeredolu family have worked together to put up a proper and befitting burial plan for our late patriarch. On Wednesday, the 21st February 2024, we will be having an open-air afternoon of tribute for Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, SANCON. This will take place at the Akure Township Stadium. This event will involve the lying in state and viewing of the remains of our late governor. Good people of Ondo State, it is to this glorious event that I am specifically and personally inviting you all. I invite you all to troop out to the Akure Township Stadium and let us celebrate a man who gave his life to his state and his people. Indeed and indeed. I ask you to join me to pay our respects to a great man whose imprints will forever remain in our memories. Let us troop out to the Akure Township Stadium on Wednesday, the 21st of February 2024, to pay our last respects to this brave, bold, and courageous man of all seasons. God bless you all as you come. Thank you.
You'll never be unhappy again.
today is a special edition of the end today, as we'll be taking a deeper look at the life and times of the late Governor Oluwarotimi Oduayo Akeredolu SAN, whose favorite has continued, and today on the stage we'll be playing host to friends, family, associates, and there's going to be a lot of activities, commencing from today in Ondo State, as there'll be a special, there'll be somebody told me that it's called Adabu, not Adabu. It is